What's up, guys? This is a very new channel. You want to introduce us?
We would like to welcome you to the very first edition of HD Synergy, a passion project started by myself, H, and my brother from another mother, D.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry. I got to do some small adjustments right now. There we go. Got everything all organized. We got our little logos up on top.
It's perfect.
Oh, man, I enjoy it. For some reason, it looks so uncentered, but it's because one is thicker than the other.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. Anyways, like he says, my name is D. A little bit about me. I have a different YouTube channel called Crazy Reptile. It's a gaming channel, so if you have any suggestions or anything you want to talk about on that channel, go check that out. That'll be in the link down below for
where I shall leave my own channel beside. I go by the Dude on many online circles, but my updating on that is a bit infrequent. It's typically whenever I feel like it. You're more likely to see me on here than you would on there, but if your heart desires, feel free to subscribe too.
Don't forget to subscribe here because that would help us out a lot. This is honestly a new project and something a little bit out of my comfort zone because I typically have something either in hand to keep me distracted and just blabber on about what topic I'm on. So this is new. If we could just get like a glitch in, we could get, you can see that we have our little name at the bottom saying HD Synergy.
Hi.
All right. Well, tell them a little bit about yourself, H.
Well, I recently completed my 4-year degree in college, so with all the spare time on my hands, I figured it would finally be in my best interest to get the ball rolling on this. Something that we have discussed for a great deal of time, but have never found the time for until now. And now that we've gotten the ball rolling, I am proud to say feels good to be where I want to.
Well, H is mainly going to be the director, so he'll have some of the topics up. And he's going to go through the comments. I will make him go through the comments.
I will go through the comments, and you are going to hold me accountable.
Yeah, I was like,
do not give me an inch.
We will have a meeting beforehand, so this gives you guys plenty of time of like saying, hey, what do you guys think about this topic or game or anything?
Yeah, feel free to shoot us up with anything you would want to see us talk about or something you would want to include yourself.
And then I think, about 50 followers, we'll try to start grabbing some people and add them on for guests.
I think that's a fair.
All right. Well,
I think that's a fair.
Let's start with our first topic, IRL. Gaming monologue all the time. So, you want to go first or shall I?
I guess I could go first. A little bit of a insight for those of you who don't know us personally. I am a avid storyteller. I focus much of my studies in college around storytelling and forays into writing. It was a hobby I picked up at the beginning of high school, but something that turned into a passion the deeper I went along with it. And in the interim, we decided to develop an idea of our own that we collaborated on and have been collaborating on for the longest time. A story called We Were Heroes.
So this story, it starts off at, a typical high school. It's typical, like, superpower, but the mystery is so involving, like how I don't want to say too much, but how stuff is not as it seems in the real world. That's true as well.
It's run of the mill until it isn't. This story.
I'm so sorry. I have to readjust myself.
Yeah, that's no problem. But on topic, this story was one that we took a bit of inspiration from My Hero Academia with. Though I figured rather than just go through the formula outright of kids learning how to be superheroes, we see kids with superpowers take it into their own hands, a bit of agency, a bit of distinction, to give it its own voice.
So it's almost like My Hero and Unordinary on Webtoons.
Yeah.
So it's a really good combination, but I don't think they have as much mystery in it as we have.
Well, there's some mystery and unordinary, but here I want to go deeper, like full blown conspiracy with its plot.
Absolutely. Shoot. I guess it's my turn. I'm also working on this. This story is one that I'm trying to teach myself to actually become a writer. But since I'm not, as great as words and grammar as my partner here, he will be basically going over and revising it.
I'll be his editor.
Absolutely. Trust me, I need it. All right. Also, on top of that, what do you think about the logo? I never got a full answer, and now the audience is going to hear a full answer.
Now that we have public eyes, I personally am a huge fan of the logo, like the two voices, the star, the microphone, and the bottom text. Even though it's kind of obstructed by the both of us,
it's temporary. It's temporary.
You gotta roll with your punches.
It's a rough start, but it's a start. It's something new. Honestly, I'm moved. This is definitely something new. You know me. I typically live stream or record by myself, and I have other people join in during and later. But this is start to finish. This is our channel. This is what we can do and grow.
This is our legacy here.
Speaking of legacy, I'm sorry, this is off topic, but Matt had left.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Speaking of legacy of all things, Matt had definitely left.
Oh, for sure he did. I mean, he grew such a big reputation, such a big discourse around his theories, not just with games, but with movies. And he kind of managed to separate himself from that in a way, despite it being what he's most known for. I mean, the guy was big enough to have a speaking role in Five Nights at Freddy's the movie. That alone says all that
He's also been probably the most invested content creator into Five Nights at Freddy's.
I would say so. Even when he's not exclusive mutually to Five Nights at Freddy's, he's hardly separated from it. I mean, to the point that he is on a first-name basis with the creator himself, Scott Cawthon.
That blew my mind. I'm not even going to lie. That was crazy.
Yeah, even though I've never been too hardcore of a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, my respect for Cawthon is monumental for him to just connect with people like that.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm bouncing all over the place. Sorry, audience.
It's called the stream of discussion.
I
don't
know.
naturally
Just go with the flow. My brain is just like, we gotta stay in this order. We gotta stay in this order. It's all over the place. But
the only order we need to follow is the beat of our hearts, man.
Bro, let me tell you, like, when I first met H, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous because I didn't know how to approach you exactly. But we was in choir. So
He was in choir.
I had to stand next to you either way.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how, but we just slowly grew.
It was just natural,
Yeah, I was
completely
like,
natural development.
it's, and then we just been brothers.
We've been thick as thieves.
Yeah, I was like,
Thick as thieves.
we seen each other's ups, downs, left and right. It's crazy. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm just,
There's a lot to take in with all of this.
yeah, I was like, I never thought that I would be sitting here making a podcast with
Finally
like,
getting this going.
yeah,
With
with
everything.
such a great friend. And yeah, I'm already being emotional. It's the first episode.
Come on. Come on. This
Uh,
is mutual. We both know that.
Oh man, but it's crazy. It is.
Yeah.
Because
When you're in the middle of doing it, it really gives you the moment of realization, the epiphany, you could say, that, yeah, this is happening to me. We're really here.
and especially since, you know, We've been growing up. We saw friends come and go,
Hmm.
and we stuck it out.
We've stuck it out ever since.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you take control of the wheel right now because I feel like I've been doing most of the talking. So
That's perfectly
let me
fine.
know what you want to talk about. What are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today? Well, since graduating, I got my paws on a fancy little PlayStation 5.
Hold on. There we go. Clapping. Everybody's clapping. Yeah.
Yeah, I finally got a PlayStation 5. And despite what people on the internet would lead you to believe, there are in fact games to buy, which I have used my own money for. I got an account and everything, and not even a full month into having this thing, I play perhaps the greatest video game of all time.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. I am not mincing words when I say this. Final Fantasy 16 is a masterpiece among masterpieces. I mean, where do I even begin with that thing? You could start off with the fact that this is the first mainline entry in all Final Fantasies to have an M rating, and it goes out of its way to earn that.
I guess. But you also gotta remember, some people aren't always about combat. Like, there's definitely a lot of genres in games. But if you wanted to go with combat, I could definitely see how Final Fantasy 15 would definitely be an splendid game.
I mean, 15's got some terrific combat, but 16,
I meant 16.
that blows this out of the water when it comes to combat. But it's definitely far and away the most unique in the entire series. Out of every Final Fantasy I've played, which is to say a lot of them, no game plays quite like this one.
You played pretty much all of them besides what, like
anything before number 8, I think.
Okay, so good. It could count.
A good chunk of all Final Fantasies, yeah. But
the audacity to say it's the best game.
The audacity to say that 16 is the best game. 16 is the greatest video game ever made, but as strange as this may sound, I think Final Fantasy 15 is a better Final Fantasy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know. They're making a new Monster Hunter game.
They are making a new Monster Hunter game.
It might take over Final Fantasy. It might. I'm such a Monster Hunter fan.
I know that.
That and Pokemon. The fact that they're making a new Pokemon A to Z, or whatever you want to call it, I'm ecstatic. It's like the Legend of Arceus again. The pump is real.
It's enthralling, but playing 16 gave me a lot to reflect on, not with just Final Fantasy in general, but also what value there is in being able to move on from tradition.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Most Final Fantasy games have their combat turn-based. It isn't nearly as flashy or as bombastic as you get in 16, which, I mean, it's a little fair when you consider that the combat director at Devil May Cry 5 quit Capcom to specifically work on this video game. There's like well over 15 hours worth of story mode content, which is something so remarkably engaging. Like, you know how Game of Thrones has all that politics and discourse and
so don't hate me. I never watched the Game of Thrones.
That's fine. That's because Final Fantasy 16 does that better. You know why it does that better?
Why?
Because there's actual payoff for it. Proper payoff.
Okay, yeah, I can see proper payoff.
Proper payoff. The story mode for 16, what stuck with me was how I was able to find similarities between it and 15's. Like, both games begin with the collapse of a kingdom. I don't think that's on accident. Only in 16, you're actually there playing through it rather than seeing it through a direct-to-DVD movie like they did with 15.
Yeah.
But I suspect that they had a lot of scrapped concepts from 15's development re-implemented into 16. Because 15, for those of you who don't know, its development was a total of 10 years from its announcement. It was initially announced in 2006 under the name Final Fantasy Versus 13, which was meant to be a spin-off of both Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy Type 0. But what led me to this conclusion was not only playing through this, but also knowing that one of the scrapped concepts was one of the main party members of Noctis's friends was supposed to betray him early on in the story. Yeah. Which is hard to imagine having played through the entirety of 15 for, 3 times.
Yeah, and
Enough for 200 hours worth of total gameplay. I mean, I played
bonkers. That's what you did.
I went bonkers. I went completely bonkers, but it's a little hard to imagine treachery being in 15, but it has a welcome home in 16. Treachery is almost nonstop in this game. I guess that's a big thanks to its medieval setting. That's a time period that's more concurrent, I guess, with treachery, more expectable.
Yeah, but I mean, like in 15, since I played a little, it's kind of weird how they do the betrayal at the beginning.
Yeah,
and it's just like, oh, look, our kingdom, we lost our kingdom, we lost our home, and you don't know exactly who caused it. You just know a different country has conquered.
Yeah, Noctis and the gang were away from Insomnia as the city was laid to siege by Niflheim.
Yeah.
But in 16, you're actually playing through the fall of Rosaria. And that one certainly left an impression on me.
I bet it did.
Not to give too much away, but there are characters who died remarkably more earlier than you would have anticipated them dying.
Yeah.
And some characters who die much later than you anticipate them dying. Or, to the surprise of some characters, not dying at all. Which I think is pretty fun. It keeps the player guessing as they go.
Who's going to live, who's going to die next at that scenario.
But I felt a bit more attachment with the characters in 15 than I did in 16. Do not get me wrong, I love the characters in 16 to death, but in 15, you can actually play as Prompto or Ignis or Gladiolus.
Yeah, they don't allow you to switch, right?
Yeah, in 16, it is just Clive that you play as. You can't play as any of the other party members. And it's a shame because one of the biggest draws to Final Fantasy is always the party. But
yeah, party is family in Final Fantasy. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, all the time. It's something that I wish was able to carry over here, but despite that, it still manages to do a lot with those characters, even though you're not playing as them actively. I was actually a little surprised when Final Fantasy VII Remake didn't become the template for Final Fantasies going forward, not only with its combat, but also its party and I guess some of its style more so. But 16 is such a big departure from that, and that's kind of on purpose. It's more distinct than just about anything you'll ever get your hands on. But more than that, it is emotionally gripping. I was legitimately crying as the credits were rolling, man.
Okay, so speaking of like emotional with the games,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Have you ever played Ni no Kuni: The Wrath of the White Witch?
I've been reluctant to, mostly because I anticipate it being a tearjerker.
Man, let me tell you, I played the first one before they did the remaster.
Mm-hmm.
I was bawling for no reason. I fell in love with all the characters. I fell in love with all the creatures, and how the storyline ends is so perfect, well-rounded, and balanced like a donut. But like, oh, let me tell you that storyline, that gameplay, and it allows you to switch to other parties, like how you like it in Final Fantasy. If y'all guys haven't played this, please at least give it a shot or watch other people play it. It is amazing. Storyline is perfect. I think so, anyways. But just chef kiss.
And that is your endorsement from D.
Yes, it is. What other topics do we have to talk about?
Talking about stuff that made me cry made me think of the only thing I've ever read that's made me cry. And that was reading through the critically acclaimed,
Faded out of existence for a second.
You faded out of existence, you got blipped, you got Thanos. But the critically acclaimed manga, Berserk.
Oh, yeah, you really love Berserk.
I cherish Berserk. Man,
I was gonna say, do you have any drawings down here that isn't hanging up as of right now?
I got one in my room, one in the closet, I think. Not down here though, but
Yeah. We'll have to show it next time.
we'll have to show that off next time. But Berserk on the surface would seem a bit too
Gory.
well, it is gory and it does seem hardcore. Well, it is hardcore, and there's a lot of very sensitive subject matter with the happenings, but it is all given purpose. Most of the awful happenings are perpetrated by bad people, whom you want to see the main character, who is a perfect main character, by the way, rip them to shreds.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to stop you there. What is the 3 traits of a perfect main character?
The first is change.
Okay.
Guts, throughout his entire journey, we follow him since he was a baby, and we see him go through so much unbelievable change. We see him go from a baby to a kid, then he gets a scar, then he goes into war, bulks up a bit, then the eclipse happens, he loses an arm, loses an eye, and just about everyone he's ever cared about up to that point is dead, save for the one person he trusted more than any of them, who knifed him in the back. And that is sugarcoating it.
Yeah,
that is sugarcoating.
You're right. That is definitely sugar.
That is sugarcoating it. Read Berserk for yourself, because I'm not going to give away too much, but where the story currently is with Guts, the guy has a tuft of gray hair. He's losing his senses, like his taste and his sight, and he requires this magical armor in order to be able to pick up his sword anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, change is essential for developing a perfect main character. The second thing you need is investment, and investment comes from witnessing this change, seeing all of it happen. Now, characters can go through changes in 2 different ways. Either the audience is witnessing everything that is going on, like we do with Guts,
Yeah.
or it's just happening off screen and you're just left with a bit of mystery.
They don't want it.
Yeah, mystery that deserves payoff. There must be payoff if you're going to make it mysterious. You're going to have people wondering how this change happened, how it came to be, why this person is the way they are now.
Okay. Speaking of like payoffs and stuff, did you slightly off topic, because I was rereading Spice and Wolf. If y'all have it, that's a good manga. A little for mature audience.
That's
fair warning. That's like fair warning. But they're actually doing a new animation of it. How do you feel about that, since Berserk technically came out first, but yet it's like a reboot?
It hasn't gotten the adaptation it deserves. Berserk has been deemed by many fans to be unadaptable because in the three mainstream animes that it has gotten, there is always something that they leave out, always something essential. The first anime, the one from 97, the one with very stiff, very choppy animation,
Yeah.
that one is somehow considered the best. And I agree, because
You agree?
I agree, because it follows the manga closer than either of the other two. And yet, they still got something very, very essential wrong. They forgot to include the Skull Knight. He is a very important character. He is the reason Guts survives the eclipse. So when the eclipse is happening and they fade to white, people are going to be wondering what happened. How did he get out of there?
So that's a power move, actually. That's forcing you to go
That is
read.
forcing you to read the manga.
Yeah.
But when you are adapting said manga, keep important stuff in.
No, I'm with the creator. That was a smart move. That's how they get money. How people just be like, oh, what happened in between these gray areas? Because not everything is going to be adapted due to the fact that, frame by frame is on manga, when you could have an hour or weeks, months ahead on animation.
Yeah, that anime adapts one of what is technically 7 sagas in Berserk.
Jesus Christ.
So, 7 sagas, but when the new trilogy was announced by Studio 4 Degrees Celsius, the same people who animated MFKZ, which is a terrific movie, by the way, they decided to do the whole thing all over again. The entire saga, only they cut out more than the other one did. At least they included Skull Knight in this version, but at the same time, they're still leaving out a lot of important stuff, which they thankfully decided to include in the 10-year anniversary memorial edition in commemoration to the author Kentaro Miura. But they haven't even scratched the surface on Berserk 2016, which is the only anime that moves away from the Golden Age saga, and the only anime to this point that has covered the Black Swordsman or afterwards in more than one episode, but they still leave stuff out, and that's just the least of my gripes with that anime. Not only is stuff left out, what they keep in, they rush right through, and the entire anime is it's not really animated as much as it is just made.
Okay. The fact that it was like how they rushed right through, do you think One Piece is taking too long then?
One Piece could have ended maybe 6 sagas ago if Oda felt like it.
True.
But he decided to be so meticulous with his world building and leave so many moving parts all at once that it almost requires development of 30 or more years, which is just, it's frustrating.
Where would
It's
that
so
put us
frustrating.
by the how long? Okay, for people that don't know our age, you're about to find out.
Yeah.
How old do you think we will be once they finish One Piece?
Maybe 30 or so.
Be old by then.
Yeah. Yeah, One Piece at the very least is nearing its final saga. Berserk is currently in the middle of its final sagas, and both manga should be concluded by the end of the decade, if we are fortunate and no setbacks are added.
Exactly. Right.
Please, no setbacks.
Oh man, but hey, I don't want to rush them. I want to make sure they're healthy too, because
Of course.
they have a whole life to themselves.
Yeah, besides, Eiichiro Oda with his storytelling has been so meticulous, there is no way that he hasn't blueprinted every single event and how it's going to happen. He's just got to get all the art drawn at this point.
Well, see, saying that, I feel like he would be great at D&D.
He would be great at D&D. He would be great at
DM,
D&D.
but we would never finish the game.
We would never finish the campaign because Oda would leave in so many questions to answer.
we'd be like in our 70s and we're like, are we finally done? And then this campaign finally over.
Yeah, about 70% or so.
70%.
Yeah, as much as I praise Oda's meticulous nature and his attentions to detail, the guy could stand to be a bit more scheduled out well.
Yeah.
I don't see any other Shonen Jump ever reaching the sort of ambition that One Piece has. It's just nothing's going to be bigger.
No, but
One Piece outsells the comic book industry, man.
that's true. But Bleach and Fairy Tail are coming back.
They are coming back.
I'm so excited. I know Fairy Tail's overhyped, but I love it. let me love it.
You love it?
But Bleach, I've been trying to read the manga, but I haven't been able to find any of the recent one nearby without paying, some moolah.
Yeah, I'm a little vexed because Bleach theoretically should have had a longer story. The editors for Tite Kubo were technically rushing him through. It's why Bleach had so much filler in its anime run, because Kubo was getting he was in between a rock and a hard place at the time. I don't blame him. It's just
that guy would be
no.
No.
You got to roll with the punches. Kubo did that, and I respect him for that. Him being as talented a storyteller as he is in the first place is kind of why I like Soul Society Saga.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably some of the best I've ever seen out of Shonen Jump, period. But, yeah, I don't see anything getting close to the size of One Piece with Kubo being short-capped like he was, and you take a look at other manga going on, like Jujutsu Kaisen. I hear the author for that has a habit of killing characters off prematurely.
Yes.
I am only 12 episodes into the anime of Jujutsu Kaisen, but I'm already anticipating how much more I'm going to be seeing of it, because there's a good chance that Jujutsu Kaisen probably finishes its run within the next 2 or 3 years as a manga or so, at the rate that he's going.
I wouldn't say that. I would definitely say at least 2 years, but the anime is where it's at. They're going at an extreme pace. There's no way.
It's also because of the animation studio getting remarkably overworked. Like, Studio Mappa's been churning out so much content for Jujutsu Kaisen. They've also done animation on God of High School. They're going to be animating season 3 of One Punch Man. They've done work for Attack on Titan. They've done work for Hell's Paradise.
Oh my gosh, I love Hell's Paradise. That was a good one.
Yeah, and there's also the Chainsaw Man and the movie coming up. They're getting so overworked they had to cancel the movie for Yuri on Ice. That's how stretched thin they are right now.
Okay. I never watched Yuri on Ice. Have you?
No. But just knowing that they're being so stretched thin that they had to be resorting to that, that bothers me so much.
It does?
That bothers me so much.
I feel like they should at least pay off another company, like a smaller version.
Maybe they should outsource.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of Yuri on Ice, I never knew History Maker, that song, was from there. I fell in love with that song, and I was like, man, this is a bop. It's a slow bop, but I'm like, can you feel my heartbeat? I was like, won't you make history? Yeah,
That's Yuri on Ice.
Yeah, I was like,
That's Yuri on
man,
Ice.
this is a good song. I got us completely off topic.
Completely off topic. Yeah.
Where were you?
Yeah, the animators, they get so stretched thin. I almost want them to maybe form a union or something, because
But then we wouldn't have any anime.
that may be a necessary compromise. That may be a necessary compromise if it means that the people making it can not be pushed to the brink of an early death.
I mean, I guess.
I still want the people working to be able to get it done, but they also have to be protecting their rights as human beings.
Do they have to be human to make the drawing?
This
I'm
exact,
kidding. I'm kidding.
this exact sort of conversation is why Disney's been advocating for the use of AI so much.
No, let's not.
That's a rabbit hole we're
Yeah,
not going
okay.
down.
Maybe-
That is the most we are going to leave it on right now. That
Maybe
is the
next,
most we are going to leave it on.
next video we might talk about
Next
AI.
video, we might discuss AI a bit.
But hey, if this gets, let's say, 15 likes, we could start a live stream early. We'll talk about AIs, machines.
Cards in your hands.
Yeah, so please hit that like button.
Yeah.
My thumbs disappeared.
Your thumbs just
There we go. Hit the like button.
Ah,
Anyways, I think we should wrap it up here. What do you say?
I think this is a good place to finish off.
Well, thank you guys for stopping on by. This is HD Synergy. Signing out.